Okay, so this is Donald Duck. You're going to start out with basic shape. Sometimes it's hard to draw a character that everybody's seen a lot and everybody's very familiar with. Now, I drew an oval. You need a circle because we are looking at his head shape where the eyes are. Then we're going to look at the actual beak. And the beak part, I would say, is like the bottom fifth of the face. And you really need to pay attention to the angle that this mouth comes down here and then up, and how far out that beak comes as well. So I'm going to draw this. It's kind of like a triangle with a wide base, right? And then I'd say like a third of the way up, the beak shoots out up here. So I think that's roughly correct. It seems like the beak's wider. I'm going to go ahead and clean up some of these sketchy lines. And then I'm going to look at angles. Okay, so I really want to use my pencil and check my angle of the mouth. I think this needs to be a little sharper. This actually angles up a bit on the bottom. It's not straight, and that will help get this look correct. And then that sticks out maybe to here, and then on the side. So once I'm comfortable with that, which I am, I'm going to look at the hat that's characteristic of Donald Duck. The hat angle is what I'm paying attention to right now. Again, I'm just going to check that angle with my pencil, and I'm just going to stop right there and start putting detail of the eyes and the beak, because a lot relates to where the eyes and the beak are on the face. So eyeball, let's get the beak first correct. So I've got a bump off to the side, and then I would start. Okay, so I really want to get this part correct. And he's happy and smiling and not ornery today. So I'm just outlining that shape. Really pay attention, look at it, see if you got the curves right. This height is the same as that height. Then I'm happy with that. I'm going to look at this angle down because he's happy and smiling. And it curves in. And then I jut out. This is thinner than I have here. It comes back. And then I want to clean up these lines because I'm getting messy and it's confusing. And I really want to pay attention to how far out this beak goes. I think I'm fairly close. If you're too shallow, too close to the head, or too far out, that makes that difference, especially where it's such a well-known character. You really want to nail that correctly. Okay, and then I look at on the beak when it starts coming up. I've got this line here. It doesn't come up straight. It comes up farther out here. So I've got this little bit of a curve, and then it comes back in barely. Okay, and I think that's fairly close. I think I actually need that to come in a little bit more. Okay, and then I'm going to go back through, clean it up. I'm not going to outline it heavily yet because I'm not 100% sure I'm accurate everywhere, but I'm close. So I'll stop right there with the mouth, and then I'm going to go to the eyes. The eyes are a very integral part of Donald Duck. I really want to pay attention from the distance to the side of the head, and first I need to draw where the actual side of the head is. It comes in a little bit right here. So I've got this little bump, and that doesn't come clear back here. Let me adjust this real quick. Okay, so the eyeballs, I would say pay attention to this distance right here. And they're big ovals that are, they don't come to a sharp point, but they come to a point at the top of the head. Okay, now his eyebrows come up, but if I envisioned the round part of the head coming here, I think I'm pretty close to where the eyeball would stop. And then distance in between the two eyes is very important. I look at where this bump is, and just as I'm starting to come down, this is where the next oval would start eyeball, but it's smaller because he's on this angle and I have this angle here and here, and that's how I know I'm at an angle and I'm looking at him closer. This is closer to me, this is farther away because his head is tilted. So I really want this oval comes off the head, meaning I don't see the edge like I do on that side. Okay, and I've done this incorrect, so I need to make sure that where it comes to, I don't want to say a point, but kind of the point at the top up here. And then I'm going to double check that this angle from top of eye to top of eye is correct. So I'm just checking on my drawing. That seems good enough. And then I've got these eyebrow sections that I want to add, and I want to arch it. It actually comes off this side of the head a little bit more. And then I feel like that's good. Then I've got this eyebrow that arches up. The distance of the arch is about so. Make sure it's not too big or too close. That will make a difference if your character looks like Donald Duck or not. Okay, so now I'm going to just double check where I'm doing starting and stopping points. Okay, so I'm going to erase some of these lines. So where on the eyebrow do I start the head? About here. Is this curve correct? Check that. Then over here, this curve's correct, but I've got this tuft of hair. And usually I don't care about little tufts of hair, how many like zigzags out you have, but when it comes to Donald Duck, you just have those 3. You don't have a lot of freedom here when you're trying to do a character like him. Okay, and then I'm looking at it and I'm pretty happy. Now I'm going to do a little bit more detail. I just have this big oval pupil. I always tell you on pupils to add a highlight. They don't have a highlight. You can add one if you want. And then the mouth, I'm very happy with this shape, so I am going to strengthen that with a darker line. And then I'm going to add the inside of the mouth and that little triangular tongue he's got. This edge of the mouth, you need to make this edging the same width everywhere. Okay? And then right smack in the middle, he's got this tongue. It's a triangle, but it curves a bit. I actually don't want to do the highlight. I'm not liking it right now. So I changed my mind. You can do it if you want. We don't add color to our daily sketches, but if you wanted to at this point, after you've made your lines, I wouldn't thicken them up with a pencil. I would do it with ink, and then you could use something like Prismacolor pencils, some nice Tombow inking pens. If you have the right kind of paper, it would look real nice. And now we're going to go to that hat that I almost forgot about. So not all the time does Donald have the hat. If you're like, I'm not in the mood for the hat, don't worry. You can stop. One adjustment I need to make. Look how wide I've made this beak because this line is incorrect. Okay? Pay attention to that kind of relationship from the distance of the face. So I'm just going to bring this in. It's too bad I didn't figure that out before I darkened my lines, right? And the reason I discovered that mistake was solely because I looked at my picture instead of my drawing more. So really work on looking at what you're drawing more than what you're, the subject you're drawing more than what you're drawing on your paper. Okay, so that's better. That looks much, much better. Okay, so that hat. The hat angle, it comes off this eyebrow about that angle, and then we have a nice curve. And I want to pay attention to where the curve stops, and I'm going to bring that in a little bit more. And the distance of this tuft of hair and this black section of the hat. Okay, do I have enough here, here, here? I'm not exact, but I'm close enough, and I don't want to spend too much more time on this drawing. So, and the hat, it's about this shape, and we just have this little tassel thing. I'm not sure if it's called a tassel, but we'll call it a tassel. It comes off the side. This is black, so I am going to shade that in. The hat's blue, but again, I'm not adding any color, so I'm just going to leave it an outline. But the black sections, I want to shade that in real quick. Okay, and then I can come through, erase any markings, outline heavier in areas I need to, and then you're done.